Let's go to our man from the NFL Network, Mikey G, looking sharp. Where you at, brother?
We are in my new office. We're back in the office in Hoboken here. So we got some work to do. We just threw up we're gonna have some artwork behind there. We're gonna rearrange some stuff. I don't have everything here to the directors, when we were putting it together, were like, can we add some color here? I was like, listen, dude, I used everything I possibly have. And I'm just get me on the air. Because I was doing everything at the Giants. And I'm like, as bad as this looks behind me, if you think because it's like brown on brown, they want some color in there. It's way better than that TV screen that I had at the Giants for 4 months while we were doing some renovations. So
I like
we're
it.
in, baby.
It looks good. I like it.
A strong hat, too, Mike. I like the Vice hat.
Just got the Vice hat. Just came in. Vice Squad. There it is right there. I love Vice. Vice is a great brand. They got good balls and good apparel. Love it.
Yeah, they do. I'm with you.
Not paid to say it either.
Yeah.
Not yet.
All right, buddy. Let's dive into it.
Yeah.
What are you hearing about what's going on in South Philadelphia?
A little tight, right?
Tight.
Everybody talking like this a little bit. And not in a good way. That's not a little macho man-y. You wish it was macho man-y.
Right.
It's more clenching. Everybody needed to get away this past weekend. Like it was like coaches, players, everybody just reset. And they did. I mean, you know how it is with the mini buy, and the coaches put in their work, and the personnel. I'm fascinated to see what Howie's going to do over the next couple of weeks, because it's not like one fix. I mean,
no.
I could see them adding edge. I could see them
corner
adding in the secondary. I could see them adding on the offensive line. Like, there's a lot that needs to. You don't want to go into the trading deadline with a shopping list, right? That's not how you want to handle this. Although I think a few teams are in that boat too. I've heard some teams that during negotiations have been talking about everything. It's like you start the conversation on defensive backs, next thing you know, you're talking about running backs. So I think a lot of teams are sort of in the same markets, I guess you could say. But I'm fascinated to see, because he's going to do something. Something has to be done. There's no way he's sitting on his hands for this entire trade deadline. But outside of personnel, and there are personnel things, and we'll get into them. It's personnel and it's personality right now. And I think they need to work on the personality more than anything. I don't think Nick's a big Saturday night speech guest kind of guy. This feels like the week to do that. Bring somebody in, and not they bring in Ric Flair to talk to the team or something like that. This feels like the week to kind of do that right now.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. And look, I mean, I think certain guys are going to have to kind of really, kind of rise to what you can be. And like the quarterback needs to accept roles, needs to kind of be a big part of this thing, right? Like he's got to play better, but he also he's got to get back to what he does well, right? And that is play point guard. And it means being part of the run game. Like you got to want to do that. You got to be a part of it. Go back to being what you are.
Yeah. And call it too. I mean, I would call it too, and make teams defend both the quarterback and the running back on the keeper, on the option. I mean, who's keeping the football? Slow them down as much as possible in that regard. I know. Look, I mean, this is when we get into like the predictability thing, which sort of drives me nuts, because they were. We talked about this on the Insiders the other night. I said they were predictable last year, but they were dominating. Mekhi Becton was moving people. Their offensive line was moving people. They're not doing that now. And Jordan Mailata is struggling, and I mean, Lane Johnson's been Lane Johnson. Like that.
No, he's
and then, but when
great.
he leaves the game, then
right.
It's like that's your only solid, and he's gone. And they're banged up, and it's like even the guys that are healthy are not healthy. And it's just been like, you can't do that anymore. Now all of a sudden it's like, well, maybe you got to find a way to be exotic. Well, that's not the time to do it. That's not the way to do it. And so like you almost keep it that way, because that helps your quarterback run things. And that's the way that you've done it. And now if you're not playing with 2nd and 4 and you're behind the sticks, you can call predictable all you want. The whole operation is struggling at that point. That's why I get a little nuts about that, because it's just too simple to just go, oh, they're predictable. No, well, it's one of a list of 5 things off the top of my head.
And your point is dead right, because look, they've always been predictable. Like, that's what they do. That's who they are. Yeah. With Jalen at quarterback, there's certain things he likes and certain things he doesn't like. He doesn't like to be under center. Like, that's a big piece of, when you're watching. Now, I would like to see more. Like, you watch Atlanta. In fact, we were just talking about it, EJ and I. Like, you watch Atlanta the other night running out of shotgun. They show you different looks. Like, you watch different depth where Bijan is, ghost movement. Like, they do different things.
Yeah. You could potentially add a little bit of that, but you're not going to change your offense midstream at this point. I mean,
correct.
It sort of is what it is.
Yeah.
Once you get into the season, I mean, this is off season drilling it, May, June, July, August training camp. You're not going to do that now, especially because you're limited in the number of padded practices that you can have during the season. So,
right.
I would say there's 2 conversations to be had here. There's short-term conversations and there's long-term conversation. And the long-term conversations might reveal some hard truths about what you want to be, who you want to be around. And this could potentially, no matter which way it goes, be a bloody offseason for the Eagles. But we're not there yet. And we're going to have that conversation in a couple of months. And I'm not giving up on the season. I'm just telling you.
No, I agree. I agree with you.
And I can't like
as you verbalize it, I shudder though. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. Yes.
The average fan, and listen, Howie did a great job a couple of years ago with a rebuild. And I remember having this conversation with people down there and them saying, you can't rebuild in this town. You have to maintain that level of being a competitive team while you're retooling. And he did a great job of that because they were competitive while they were retooling. The other team that did that really well recently, the Seattle Seahawks did that really well. And they've remained competitive.
Yeah.
This was a couple of years ago, not just within the last 2. This was like,
well, New England did it like around Brady. They did it.
Yeah, but that was always like, yeah. I mean, they were always reinventing themselves. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying in terms of like, wow, we've got some. Because I mean,
no, changing quarterbacks. Kelsey, like you're right. Quarterbacks, centers, like big pieces, they've changed.
Yeah, and Kelsey retires, and Fletcher Cox retires, and who else was gone in recent years? Brandon Graham, obviously, but that was the more recent one. Who am I missing? There's another big retirement
for now.
Yeah. Well, what are we hearing there? Drop some news on that one.
Wow.
Thankfully, I asked about this ahead of time because I would have been freaking out this morning. I said yesterday I was in studio for Good Morning Football, and he's our Friday guy. And I said to Kyle Brandt, I go, is BG in tomorrow? And he goes, yeah. And then I hear in my ear the producer's like, no, he's out tomorrow. He's got something to do up in Michigan or whatever.
Yeah, he's going to miss
you. And so this morning, if I had flipped it on this morning and saw that he wasn't there, I would have gone into full blown, like, where is he? Is he in the building? Is he signed? But thankfully I knew ahead of time that he wasn't going to be there. So, be interesting to see him pop back in. And, we talked about him last year. Be the closer. Doesn't matter. Be the closer for the season.
Yes.
Be the closer for games.
Yes.
Just show up for half of the back end of the fourth quarter. In the same way that Jason Kelsey says he would come back if he only had to run the tush push every single down. Brandon Graham should come back if you only have to rush the passer in the back half of the fourth quarter. How about that?
I mean, listen. There's one thing. If they did make an overture, they could use him in the room because he's just that kind of guy. He's a winner, and he's just that kind of guy.
He still has a locker there, right?
Yes,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he does. He works out there every day. He works out there.
Which is, I guess, sort of weird, but also like not a bad guy to have in there right now.
You brought up the potential for blood.
Yeah.
Where's AJ at? Where is AJ? Like he always says, AJ's going to want to trade. AJ's going to want out. What do you hear on that realm?
the way it is right now, all I'll say is the way it is right now. And I was in that locker room post game the other night.
Yeah.
Like this can't continue to exist this way. Like it just can't. And I'm actually glad and relieved that it's all out in the open right now. Because in previous years, it's been like,
yeah, you had to whisper around it. Yeah.
Yeah, but also like, oh, you guys are making too much of this.
I know.
You can't even try to go that route. Everybody knows that this ain't right now.
Right.
It can get right again. Winning cures everything. Offenses in rhythm cure everything. Scoring points, and I know he's not a big stats guy. I really believe he's not a big stats guy. I take that for what he says, but like the offense being successful and looking what it's supposed to look like, and that feeling of like, hey, I helped lead us to the promised land. That's a big thing for him. So you can get back there, but it's got to happen, and it's got to happen soon. Because if you said, if the season stops today, here's who makes the playoffs. If the season stopped today, and the Eagles had to go, here's our number one receiver and quarterback and the way they're relating to each other. Harsh truths and blood and everything I'm talking about, that would absolutely have to come up.
Yeah, it would. All right. Other side of the matchup, Minnesota, the Wentz thing. Like, oh, by the way, you're playing Minnesota and Wentz. In Minnesota, where you won the Super Bowl for the first time. The storylines are everywhere.
Yeah.
Plots, subplots, everywhere.
I actually can't believe that.
Burial plots.
I don't know how it's been there, but it has not been like a big national topic, and it hasn't really. Like I'm shocked at that, because this is, and maybe it's like, Wentz has gone a couple places since.
Yeah.
He really hasn't played great football. But to me, this is like I couldn't believe everything that was lining up this week. So I love covering Carson. I still don't know, other than injuries, how and he sometimes gets in his own head. We know how it is. How a guy could fall off as greatly as he did. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fascinating. He even when he was struggling at times, he was still pretty good, like late in games. He had that game against the Eagles. They played the Giants on like a Thursday night, and it was like an ugly game, and then he threw it a Boston Scott to win the game or something like that. And it was kind of like that was that Browns game last week. It was like, it was not a pretty game, and in the end, he and the offense make the plays to win the game there in the end. So it's appointment viewing for a lot of reasons this Sunday. Not the least of which, by the way, is Brian Flores getting an extra week to scheme up some stuff for an Eagles team that offense has not done well against exotic pressure, man type. Or, well, I guess they're going to get man, but I don't want Brian Flores to have an extra week to prepare for this offense right now.
No, because I think they'll wind up doing what everybody else is doing now, which is flood the zone, Brackett and AJ, and forcing Jalen to throw in the windows.
Well, that means they're going to show 8 and bail out.
Yep.
And Harrison Smith has been a big. His ability to go from the line of scrimmage to get all the way back deep is why they're able to get away with a lot of that stuff. And so I think you'll see a lot of that, a lot of show pressure, back out, some zones. Jalen's got to see it quickly. If you're the Eagles, all you can do.
If you're listening to us, Mikey G just made the sign of the cross.
There's an audio only option?
Yes, okay. You can actually do. People listen to the podcast of it, right? Or listen to it, not just watch us. I just had to get that play-by-play going. The league is wild. Last night, Mikey, we watched Flacco v. Rodgers. I loved it. I loved every second. I love that.
Of course you did.
He threw 23 times at Jamar Chase. He got 23 targets. It was awesome. Makes
the
sense
whole
in
time
this
I'm
league.
thinking, but the whole time I'm thinking, like, Jake Browning, you could have completed half those passes. And it was, quick slants. He's creating space. But I guess once you hit a couple up top, that puts the quarterbacks on their heels.
Yeah, I mean, Joe can sling
hit that.
Yeah, Joe's a slinger, man. Like, I love Joe.
Yeah.
Joe's a slinger.
That loosened up. But the whole time watching, like, you see, Jake, like, this is all you had to do. Like, and they wouldn't have had to trade for anybody. So, I
love Tomlin. I love Tomlin ripping Cleveland for trading them to Cincinnati.
there's a lot of unwritten rules in baseball. There's not a lot in football. And I think Tomlin was basically saying they violated an unwritten rule because they're like the dude in the fantasy team whose season is already over and he trades somebody to a team that's in it and everybody else is pissed off.
Right.
That's a great analogy.
That's exactly what the Browns did. Because the Browns, it's not like Donovan got traded from the Eagles to Washington, and the
On
plan
Easter.
at the time was for him to. Yes, on Easter. I remember that vividly. I do remember that vividly. But the plan there for Washington was that he was going to be our quarterback for quite some time. Like the Eagles were going to see him repeatedly. For the Browns, it was like, I'll send him over there. We're already not making the playoffs this year, and we won't have to deal with him after this season. And we were going to let him go anyway. So it was a different kind of thing. So I think that's what Tomlin was pissed about, certainly. And I do wonder, because I know he was, he wanted to get his message out there. I do wonder if it had a negative impact on his own locker room, that they're kind of like, wait, are we scared of this guy? Like, right. And all of a sudden now you're dealing with that kind of mentality. But Tomlin now is at the point. I think Al Michaels made a reference to this on the broadcast last night. I think he told them, I'm at the point in my career where whatever, it's a cranky old man.
Right, I'll say whatever. Yeah, I'm going to let it go.
Yeah, he's not old, by the way. I'm just saying in terms of the mentality.
How about they run a read option and he keeps it? Joe,
dude.
Oh,
and he was moving too.
He was pretty good. Yes, he was.
I remember a game. I think it was his rookie year. He played against the Giants at Giant Stadium. I covered that game, and he ran a bunch that game. And he was
always a good athlete.
Of foot.
Yeah,
he was fleet of foot back then. And things slowed down over the years, but got a little juice left, got a little gas left in the tank there. Good for you, Joe.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. The league's wild, man. Just wild. Like you got the Colts 5-1, the Tampa 5-1. The Bills are like the Eagles. They lose 2 straight. Now they get banged up. So there's obviously a much different feel because they still know they're good. But the Chiefs are getting better. They're going to get even better. Now that they get Rice back, I'm scared of them. I think they go on a major run. I
agree with you. I think it's running through Kansas City again in the AFC, which is fine. I mean, I know there's Chiefs fatigue for a lot of people. The team that I think the Bucs might wind up with the number 1 seed. I really do. Their schedule. This was supposed to be the tough part of their schedule. And they went 2-0 so far. It was like a 3-game stretch. I'm looking at this. It was a 4-game stretch. Eagles, Seahawks, Niners, Lions. If they pull off the upset, obviously I feel a lot better about that. Then they got the Saints in the back end. They got another game against the Saints. They got 2 against the Panthers. They got 1 against the Dolphins. They got the Falcons, 1 more against the Falcons, who they already beat. They got Arizona at home. Once they get to November 30th, I mean,
they're going to
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 5-1 or 6-0 to close it out. So and the way that they're playing through injuries, once they get everybody back and healthy again, Todd Bowles, Temple Tough, Temple Todd, love it.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. Now I think they get the doors blown off on this week. Noah Buka kills them. I mean, Tez Johnson, Cam Johnson, you can just live with for so long. And against that Lions team, the team that I'm always looking at is the Packers. Like, how good are the Packers? I don't know. I thought they were better, but I thought they were really good. But then there's always a part of me going, am I wrong? I don't know.
Here's the problem, and this is why I lean towards the Bucs. Like, they got divisional games left, and it's like, who's going to win? Like, they're going to wind up beating each other.
Yeah.
I just,
that division's
I think
nasty.
They're good, and the Packers are, and they have been, the team that in recent years you don't want coming into your building in January. The Eagles beat them last year, but previously they had been a tough out for a lot of teams. So I'm with you. I'm not when I say I'm just looking from a scheduling and record standpoint. I think Tampa Bay has got a chance to really fatten that record up to 13 wins or so and potentially have that 1 seed. Then you got to go through Tampa in the playoffs. and then you get some good matchups there. Like I still Detroit goes there or Green Bay goes there. Like those are teams you don't want to come into your building. So we did a snapshot of, again, if the season ended today, what the playoff matchups were going to be. There's some really good ones. I think it's going to be an entertaining January. I like when it's sort of wide open like this.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's nuts. What duty you got this weekend?
We're home. We're home again. I'll be here on Sunday. We've got another international game, and then next week is the 19th. No, I'm sorry, this is the 19th. Next week, the 26th, which is the Eagles-Giants game. I believe I've already been assigned that one for the rematch down there in Philly. I can't imagine the Eagles are going to lose 2 to the Giants in 3 weeks, but talk to me after I watch them play the Vikings. How about that, Ant? We'll get to that at that point. So, yeah, catch me on NFL Network Sunday morning from home.
I like it. We'll be watching. Looks good. Like the set.